Hello people, so today I thought as Halloween is approaching, I would tell you a kind of scary story. A few weeks ago, I had a rather scary experience. I don't know if I actually was asleep. I must have been kind of dreaming. So every now and then when I'm sleeping, or maybe I'm kind of half asleep, I'm not really sure, because I am aware of it at the time. I have these moments where if I am really still and relaxed, I can almost feel myself leaving my body and kind of floating. When this happens, I am always aware that it's happening. I know I'm in bed asleep, but I can feel myself floating. And usually when this happens, I feel really relaxed and I will for it to happen. I've heard about things like this happening before. I hear some people talk about astral projection where they're just flying through the air and it's one of the most amazing feelings they experience. And so obviously I do strongly believe that these things actually happen. Just kind of creating a kind of backstory to this. But a few weeks ago, last month, mid-September I think it was, something kind of similar happened, but also very different and quite terrifying. Which is why I'm telling you the story now as a kind of Halloween-y themed kind of video. So this kind of begins at about 3 o'clock in the morning. I have forced myself to stay up late because I had a night shift the next day and I just wanted to kind of prepare for it. But all night, even though I had stayed up the night before as well, I just felt so tired. And this was very strange because I'd only got up at like 1 p.m. that day because, like I said, I was changing my sleeping pattern so that I could do the night shift. So naturally I didn't expect to feel as tired as I did, and I'm mentioning this now because it might be relevant. I had a theory afterwards that maybe it was relevant, that it was so strange how tired I felt. So I decided to give in to this tiredness I was feeling, went up to bed and fell asleep almost instantly. I don't know if this happened straight away or if it was 10 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour later. The first thing that starts is that I hear this kind of noise. It was kind of like the sound you get when you leave speakers on really loud but there's no music playing. Similar to that anyway, and then it just kept getting louder and louder, and at first I thought it was coming towards me. The house was silent. There was no noise anywhere else. My neighbours were quiet. This was 3 o'clock in the morning. No one outside was making any noise, so it kind of had to be in my head. And I've had times like this before. I've had this one time where I could hear like loads of whispers in my head. I couldn't decipher what anyone was saying, but there was so many voices. And then there was this one deafening whisper that said something. I can't remember what it said now, but it definitely woke me up. So yeah, that happened. It just kept getting louder and louder, and suddenly I could feel my own body tossing and turning in bed. This time I felt like I was awake, or I could have been having a lucid dream, I'm not sure. But I knew my body wasn't actually moving, but I could feel my body tossing and turning. And it wasn't really quick, it was almost slow motion as well, but I could feel it even though I knew my body wasn't moving. Not only could I feel my body tossing and turning, but I could also feel this kind of pressure, as if gravity had suddenly increased dramatically. And while all this was happening, I suddenly got the unbelievable fear that someone or something was coming after me. And yeah, by this point I was absolutely petrified. I was feeling trapped. I was feeling this pressure on me. I was hearing this loud noise. I had this fear that something was coming after me. And the first thing that came into my head was that I was about to experience sleep paralysis. I believe this kind of stuff happens because so many people experience it. And yeah, I thought that that might be happening. I could feel someone or something coming after me, and all I kept thinking to myself was, I'm going to get sleep paralysis, I need to wake up. The noise was getting louder, this creature or whatever it was coming closer. I needed to wake up. And then finally I opened my eyes. But it didn't just go away. I could still hear the noise in my head. I could still feel the pressure on my body. And scariest of all, I could still feel like there was someone in the room. I still couldn't move, but that was mainly due to the fact that I was too afraid to move. But I did will myself to move my right hand, just flex the fingers in my right hand, and as soon as I did that, the pressure on my body kind of subsided a little bit and the noise in my head was going down. But I still felt like I was being watched. So the next thing I did was I grabbed my phone on the bedside table, turned the torch on and looked around the room. Of course there was nothing there, and although I knew that this could have just been a really vivid, realistic dream, I was still petrified. So here's where I talk to you guys. What do you think? Was I just about to experience sleep paralysis? Was it just a really vivid, horrible nightmare? Was I hallucinating? Give me your thoughts down in the comments. Tell me about any kind of scary dreams or nighttime experiences you've had. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope everyone is having a great day, and I will see you next time.